Once again, Peugeot 206 cc 2-litre manual. Really nice little thing, 138 brake horsepower. Sold the Caddy yesterday because I need to make space and get rid of a couple of cars. There's just too much stuff on my driveway. So this is going to step up and become the daily for a while, but I'll only tax it from next month because I'm not paying the government a full month's road tax for half a month. Anyway, nice little car, lots about it to be liked. One of the things I don't like is, as much as this is a beautiful color, I like mad colors. Look at that. So that's the clear lacquer that's worn away. Just in that patch, the rest of it's fine. There is discoloration because if you look at the original color, where I've removed the windscreen washer nozzle, you can actually see the difference in color there. So I'm quite happy with it as it is now, but still remove that, because what I'm going to try and do is doctor that and just make it visually disappear. So when I step back, you might get an idea of the line of vision, but I've just gone straight across. I'm going to literally just do the bonnet and put a go faster stripe on there that will hopefully blank out all of that wear or lacquer peel. So let's see. I've removed the washer nozzle already, so I can stick the vinyl flat. I'll cut a little hole and re-pop it through and reconnect. I had to remove the padding from underneath the bonnet, open the bonnet, pulled a couple of these clips. They're quite interesting. They're in two parts, so you basically, let me get some sun on it. You have the top part that you pull out, and then the whole thing comes undone because it flares on the other side once it holds down the mat. So that's quite an easy job to do if you know what you're doing. I didn't initially. Anyway, so I've already prepped everything else. It's clean and ready. I'm literally going to take that stripe of string. That was just my visualizer, and to get the measurements right so that it's actually straight. I've worked off the center line off the Peugeot badge, and then also at the top I measured the width of the bonnet to get to the center. That piece of string is not on the center, obviously. It's all dictated by the size of this piece of junk here. So let's see where we get. I'm going to try and put this black vinyl on there, hopefully not with too much swearing. We'll see. I've already cut it to size, or to width, which is 90 millimeters, in fact 94 millimeters, because that's all I had. This was what was left from when I did the blacking out on the panels of the Caddy between the windows and on the back door, just so it looked a lot more uniform. So yeah, let's see if I can do this without too much swearing. Let's see where we get. I might end up aborting the whole job, but for the moment, rock and roll, let's go. The trick with this stuff is that your hands need to be clean, dust free. Let's just get this started. The surface isn't too hot, but it is quite hot, which I think will make it a little bit easier to apply. Now, one of the tricks here will be to remove this and then start in the right spot, which I think is approximately here. Putting some extra down, you can just see it'll end up in the right place. Stuff's quite interesting to work with because it tends to, the minute it lays. You can't move it. So to me the important thing is ending up where I started with my little marker. This is not happy with me, so I'm going to have to do that get my little squeegee, try and squeegee it down as I go along. Ready at floor, let's try it again. Not quite right. It's actually drawing over to the right because of the curve in the hood. Bonnet, as us Europeans say, which that's a major mistake. Maybe this is why you pay so much to have people wrap vehicles. I never know if I'm getting lucky when I get lucky, or whether it's just a matter of a bit of practice, a bit of trial and error. But that has covered the damage. I knew there was a few specks, but you'll see where I go with this next. Now, the way to finish this is two ways. Either cut it here and then just lay this little piece on to the front of the grill, but I think that that's not necessary. I think in fact that's a bit foolish. Get my little scalpel. Careful not to poke yourself in the leg with it, because that happens. We'll slice it wide so we can actually fold it around the front of the bonnet. You folded it around, it's not going to lift or get scruffy and untidy. Now, as I said, am I being an arse doing this? I think the simple answer is this is not right. I probably need a bigger piece for starters if I wanted to draw this together, which would be alright, bringing the black plastic and this together. So I might go see if I've got a little piece left over. So the other job to do, of course, is just to really set this right down. A couple of bubbles, push them out. That. Same on this side. I am going to poke myself in the hand, I can see it coming. Tiny little bubbles, just poke them with the scalpel, because once you flatten them, they kind of disappear, like that. There's another one there. There you go. I think that's pretty much job done. Cut out this little hole. Put your finger through there so that it sits and fits. What do you think? It's not too bad. It's not perfect, but I'm not trying that hard, am I? Right. I'm going to go fetch a little piece of vinyl, another piece. I'll be back. Right, so I cheated a little bit. I did the sweary bits down the bottom there quickly because I had an offcut of this lurid yellow-green color. I don't know what you'd call that. It's not yellow, it's more of a, maybe, I don't know what it is, could be pink. Anyway, so I'm going to run a stripe on both sides of the black, which is a completely different finish obviously, and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I can always take it off in a week's time. First thing, take the roll, find enough of it, cut off the length, and then start applying. These things, you see, bugger. They have a habit doing this, unrolling completely and utterly. And you have to bring it all back together again. First one cut there, good. If we don't screw it up, obviously. Right. So that feels and looks okay so far. Easy as that. Not that easy, but I've done this sort of thing before. And you just trim down there. Use my little squeegee. Use your fingers as well. I like a squeegee. I like that so far. But I've been known to change my mind. So we'll do the second one. Similarly. And the whole roll unrolls itself while it's out of sight. Because it can be spiteful like that. Right. One, two. It's actually way too warm for tracksuit pants today. Should be in my garage clothes, but that hasn't happened because I got distracted with other things, including a car in Portugal, which is really bothering me. Even though I said no more cars, as soon as somebody buys this green car off me, I can go fly to Portugal and fetch another car. It's also green. It's also 44 years old. I try not to put any tension on this stuff because it will, on a really hot day, it will move. Just make it a bit shorter. There you go. That's part 2. Now we start with the really interesting part, which is part 3. Tiny little black pinstripe on the outside of that again. That should look quite good. Right, sorry for that pause. Chatting with a mate who lives in Ireland but is travelling out in one of the American states. I'm not sure what he's doing, if he's in a camper van or on an arranged tour. We're talking to him about making contact with another guy who's in Portugal who claims to speak the language. He's from Britain but has moved out there to try and find some inner peace. So yeah, always interesting here at Grizz Towers. There's always something going down. Sometimes it's just pinstripe tape. What do you think? Liking that. Just cut it there. Add a bit here. Let's see how much we need. This side, we're almost at a point of impossibility. There's not a lot of stuff is impossible. We'll figure it out. Just try and cut this without cutting myself. Remove the backing and see if we can get it in there. Probably as close as we're going to get to doing this little bit. Now that little piece there, I'm not sure how the hell I'm going to do that. Maybe I should just use a black marker, eh? This is a mess, as in just a pain in the bum. Coming together. It actually looks good with just the one half done as well, I think, but we'll try and see how this works first of all. Success at this point. Slightly imperfect. I'm happy with that. Boom shakalaka. I think that's the job done. I'll just take a quick little walk. Look at it this way. Right, so coming in from this side, just to get a bit of perspective. I'm quite happy with that. I don't think it looks that bad. More importantly, it's covered up that horrible lacquer peel. So, see how many people want to race me now. That'll be the next thing. There you go. Job done. 16 minutes later, and the initial start off. I'm just going to reassemble the window washers and put all that back together, shut the bonnet, and then I'll leave it. It's Friday afternoon. Job done. I think I'm happy with that. Have a good weekend, and thanks for joining.